Have you been DJing with a laptop for a while, but have been thinking about giving Rekordbox USBs on CDJs a try? Well, here are 5 tips from a lifelong Serato user to help make your first gig with Rekordbox USBs a lot easier. Now, the workflow using USB sticks on CDJs can be a lot different than the workflow of DJing when using something like Serato or Traktor or Algorithm DJ. So these 5 tips really help me make the transition a lot easier. So let's get into them. The first thing to keep in mind is, unlike the hot cues in Serato or Algorithm DJ, these hot cue points are not gated, meaning once you hit them, the song will start playing. So for example, so from pause, I don't get that effect where, say, I get to a cue point and I can kind of jam it like that. In that case, that's what the cue button right above the play pause button's for. So the workflow is a little bit different and can really kind of jumble up your mixes if you don't keep that in mind. The next tip, and this was huge for me when I was making the jump, is using this function right here called the tag list. Now, in software like Serato, you have your prepare crate where you can throw a bunch of songs into that you're thinking about playing but haven't loaded them into decks yet. And this is really helpful on CDJs. And this is basically the same function where you can find a song in your library, hit the tag track button, and it'll end up in the tag list, and then you can just load it from there, so you can kind of prepare to play a bunch of songs that you're thinking about playing, especially on CDJs where it can take a second or two to load, or even more if you're using CDJ 2000s. Kind of thinking ahead and planning ahead using the tag list, especially if you quick mix, or like mixing with open format kind of styles, really makes a difference and can really save you in the long run. The next feature that's really helpful, since we don't really have a keyboard, physical keyboard to kind of search through, instead of scrolling through your tracks like this, there's a search function on CDJs. On the 3000, there's an actual button. On the 2000, it's kind of buried, and I'll show you a shortcut to that in a second. But the search function and being able to search things up is probably how I grab my songs 90% of the time when I'm playing on CDJs with Rekordbox USBs. Just sometimes I'll scroll through my playlist if I don't know what I'm going to be playing, or, you know, I'm just kind of thinking about it. But for the most part, just like in Serato, I'm using the search function, typing in the song title or the artist and grabbing that song and loading it to a deck. So my 4th tip you can find right here in the source page. Right over here, you'll see My Settings load. This is the My Settings that you can save to your USB sticks in the Rekordbox app. So when you connect your USB stick to your computer, it'll actually save all the different kind of settings for all the functions on the CDJ that you have set on the actual Rekordbox app, and save it to your USB stick. So for instance, when I load my settings, that's automatically going to change the tempo range to plus or minus 16. That's automatically going to change the waveforms to be the RGB color that's similar to Serato. That's also going to change the beat jump amount to 16, which is my preferred method. A lot of small things like that, instead of having to change them one by one, or you never know, the DJ that was playing before you might have different settings. Doing it cleanly and just loading the settings makes sure that the CDJ is going to function the way you intended it to. And finally, this is one that I just kind of started using a little bit more, is going to be the shortcut key right here. Now, on the CDJ 3000X, this is a lot more expanded. But for instance, maybe something went wrong with my USB stick and it didn't save my settings. Here I can change the color of the waveform. I can change my beat jump value. I can change a bunch of different functions from here, just using the shortcut button instead of having to diving into menus. It's really simple. You know, if you just want to just get quick access to a bunch of very useful functions such as quantize, such as smart cue, etc., this is the way you're going to get to it. And on the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2, this is where you're going to find the shortcut to get to the search function. Instead of having to diving into the menus, just hit that shortcut button. There's going to be a button for search right in there, and you'll get to that search function really quickly. And if I have to play on 2000 Nexus 2s, that's how I'm getting to it instead of digging in the menus, so I can still keep the same workflow. Well, that's my 5 tips for using Rekordbox USBs on CDJs for the first time if you come from the world of laptop DJing. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, as it really helps the channel out. And if you're looking for more DJ related content, or you're looking to support the channel even further, check out my Patreon. A link will be down in the description below. And shout out to all my Patreons. You can find them right here. And as always, thank you for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.